All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Chakwaдаsh. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, salutations to the hopeful elect that's fighting a good fight of faith and truth, in sincerity and wholeheartedly. Shalom unto the Akwath, which is the women believer. Shalom unto you. All praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. A tsunami of disruption is coming for billions of people. Now, what I want to title this video, When the Warning Become Reality. Because here's the thing. As many times as I make a video on this topic, 'cause that's the spirit that the Lord have on me, this is coming. And the stage is already set. We're all on the Lord's time, but everything is set in place. So I got two videos to show. I'm going to let the first one play out, get some scriptures. Let the second one play out, get some scriptures.
Of a lifetime is coming, and nothing your elders have seen is going to prepare. And every occupation that is named is over. I'm going to be a dentist, radiologist, accountant, teacher. These are all over. More or less, we're LLMs. More or less, we don't do a single intelligent thing all day long. And the reason that they're able to mimic us is because we don't realize that intelligence is a last resort for us. Because everything that we know how to do through education creates repetitive behaviors. We don't know how to educate for creativity and genius. We know how to educate for doing higher level things. So radiology is a great example. Radiologists are, some of the first in the crosshairs. I'm going to stare at some imaging and I'm going to say, I think that's a tumor. I think that's benign. And it's going to say, just give me all of these tokens. Like, well, they're x-rays, they're CAT scan. No, they're just tokens. But at some point, the AI just looks at the human and says, you're just holding me back. To the average person, I would say get your board in the water and prepare to paddle like all get out.
So, and he said a lot, and that's the thing. We have all been taught to be great workers, not great thinkers. I forgot what Devil said. This quote: "I don't want a nation of thinkers. I want a nation of workers." I don't know which devil. I could easily look it up, but that's not important. But the point is that that's what they want, though. So from the time that you go to kindergarten, graduate, 12th grade, and then if you go to college, it's even worse. You're just taught to be a better slave, all right? To basically continue to feed in to his system, that he can make money and that his economy can still run, because the people is the backbone. But now he done with people, all right? And my favorite prophetic books. Why you think this is going to be the case? It said, I forgot. Gotta spell it all the way out. Goodness gracious. So it says, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hand. Why do you think the modern day sword is the gun? Why do you think people going to be shooting at each other? Why do you think people going to have the evil eye towards each other? Because it's going to be lack of resources. Okay? All hell going to be breaking loose. You had a job. You was able to provide for yourself somewhat, but now you can't. And it says, for there should be sedition among men. That is an uprising. That is a revolution. That's going to cause people to be like, hey, man, what the fuck going on? What's going on, cuz? All right? What's going on? Hey. Yeah. But as we continue to read, for there should be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. Why? That's the powers that be. Ain't nobody going to be regarding them anymore, because right now they're recognizing, talk about at this time, they will be recognizing that the powers that be don't have my best interest at heart. I was just working. I was at my job for 20 years, and now I don't have a job. My job was taken by AI. Now they're talking about some universal basic income, which you already know is going to come with all kind of stipulations. And then that's literally you being in total subjection. Like I said, a drug dealer right now is still making money under the table. If you go work for somebody, that's money under the table. All right. See, they're building a system where ain't no under the table, ain't no overtime. You gonna get what I give you. All right. In the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man should desire to go into a city, should not be able. So all the uprising, the shooting, the killing, the invading one another, that's going to cause martial law. That's what this is going into. And then now we're going to get to the skinny of it. For because of their pride, because this is the Lord doing this, because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, men shall be afraid. A man should have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses. Why? With the sword and spoil their goods, because of lack of bread and great tribulation. That's all that's going to bring, lack of bread and great tribulation. At the same time, there's going to be no prophets on the street telling you why this is happening. So if you're not getting this information now and you're not repenting, if you're an Israelite, so-called Black, Latino, Native American, because that's what the truth is for. All right. If you're not repenting, all right, you're going to be caught up in this.
Elon Musk, who I don't like and disagree with on everything, it's not a dumb guy. And he says that work will become optional. That AI robots will do everything that you need.
My prediction is that work will be optional. Optional.
Well, if AI robots do everything, work is optional, how do you survive?
You're going to get a check, really? So, like I said, what you think that check? What type of stipulations going to come with that check? And like I said, this is like my favorite topic. This is what the spirit that the Lord got me on. But the scripture said, never trust thy enemy. We're going to read that, because that's what people don't get. But people going to trust them, because remember the scripture said, where there's no vision, the people perish. You don't know nothing about prophecy. You don't care about prophecy. Everything that they showing you, okay? And you really could say the things that the prophets is showing you, because this ain't on the mainstream news, all right? But the Lord is showing you what's about to happen on the earth. The Lord said to the prophets, of course, but they are the ones that saying it out loud to you. Before it spring forth, I would tell you of it. Okay? That's Isaiah 42:9. So it says, never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. I have never seen iron not rusteth. Okay? Because iron will rust. That is part of it. That's the oxidation of it. All right? So, also, going into the universal basic income, which we all know what that leads to, the MOTB, mark of the beast, the micro C-hip, put the CHIP together, all right? But the thing is that, remember, the scriptures talks about depopulation, okay? So even the ones who will receive the universal basic income, you think they want to give a universal basic income to almost 8 billion people? That's a lot of money printing, even though that's all they do anyway. But that's just a lot of money printing all day, every day. All right. And then here's the thing, though. It ain't going to be no money anyway. Okay. So now you have basically money being programmed into your bank account. Remember, he said the universal basic income talk about $2,000, right? So you get $2,000. It's easier to give $2,000 to 500 million than almost 8 billion. And if you don't remember, that was the first commandment, their commandments. They had 10 of them on the Georgia Guidestones, which got destroyed in the time of the CV-19, the pandemic. And what I believe is because they didn't need it no more, because they're about to accomplish their plans. And then you got to realize a lot of people took the hokey pokey. They took the juicy juice. So at any time they can drop ticket time bombs, I call them. So the thing is, They don't need that no more. But think about that. Think about what he is saying here.
Got to get a check, really. But there is no government because you're not paying any taxes, right? What happens to Social Security? What happens to Medicare and Medicaid?
Money will stop being relevant at some point.
Money will stop being relevant at some point in the future. Ain't that scripture? Do I have to get it? I'm not going to get it. Whoever watched this, if you're new, I want you to read Revelation 13 and 16. Okay? And I want you to read it in the Blue Letter Bible. For you can go into the concordance and click on the word mark and then read the definition of it. It says something being put inside you and for you to show allegiance to your God, your master. Okay? Because when you put that inside you, you're not the Lord's no more. You're his. He's trying to create man in his image. All right. So what I want to stick to is the calamity that this is going to bring. All right. So that's why I want to title this When This Warning Become Reality. And we're going to get the scriptures.
The future.
And who's going to determine the check that you get? Really? How much you...
Yeah. And also, that is what you call social credit system. Don't forget about that. You've been a bad girl. You've been a bad boy. Yeah, let's deduct. Matter of fact, this is the devil that we're talking about. You said you depended on that 2,000, but you already know it's always something, especially with the devil. Now you getting 1,500. That's the new price. But your overhead, like I said, you already know you're gonna get the bare minimum. Your overhead is 1,800. Let's say that your overhead is 1,800. You only get 2,000 a month. But now he dropped it down to 15. Now you can't even. Now you got to do extra things for a piece of change. Okay, but see, I'm being funny, but I'm also for real, man.
Gonna get? How much am I gonna get?
I mean, it'll be like playing sports or a video game or something like that.
It will destroy humanity's jobs of, like, you went to an elite school and you studied philosophy. Use myself as an example.
I did too.
Yeah, hopefully you have some other skill.
So, like they're telling you, school, we all found out that that's been a hoax. You better off going to a trade school. But they talking about, I believe that trade schools, like people who got like a skill like electrician, welder, all of that, plumbing, all of that, I feel like those would be the last jobs to go. But they saying that AI can do whatever a human do and better. And of course they can, because guess what? They don't need food. They don't need water. They don't need breaks. They don't need vacation. They don't get sick. They can work 24/7. So the video getting close to the end. So let me get this out. This is what I want to end it on. I forgot. I don't know why I keep forgetting though. It says, woe is me, who should deliver me in those days, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings. Don't you understand that this is what this is going to bring? All right, so you don't got no job, to mean you don't got no money, which means that you gonna have to do what you got to do to get food, okay? And who's to say that as soon as they, as soon as the job stop and, they got a check right for you, okay? Don't forget, I'm going to keep on mentioning it. Depop. All of this is leading to depopulation. This is the other reason why they making all these robots too. So it says the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Trusting Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai. Ezra know that now. He knew that then. But when you see in the future devastation of a vision that the Lord given him, he like, shit, he in the midst of it and everything. Behold, Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for an amendment. So the Lord is the one that's sending this. But for all these things, they should not turn away from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. So when these things do come to pass, you're not going to account it to the Lord doing it. What you're going to do is just survival of the fittest. You're going to try to find a way to survive instead of repenting and having, hoping that the Lord have mercy upon you, which you need to do that before this time happened. Because when this time happened, it's too late. So that's why you're not going to be mindful of the scourges. You weren't even mindful of the Lord from the beginning. So it says, behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon the earth. Now this is one of my favorites, especially since the Lord got the spirit on me to be into this AI. All right. And their talking points. So automation, right? Which means that robots, AI is going to be making all the goods, doing all of this. And guess what? Like I said, since they don't need no breaks or nothing like that, they're going to be making a lot of goods. When things are excess, that means that they're cheap. So now things are going to be cheap, right? Behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon the earth, that they shall think themselves to be in a good case. Now, remember the scriptures that we read above. At that same time, all of these things going to be happening. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth. The sword, depopulation. Famine, depopulation, great confusion. What the hell is going on? Should have listened to the prophets. That's what you should have did. Let me stop. I ain't gonna lie. Oh man, I be having a good time, man. I love all of this, but at the same time, I hope Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah have mercy upon me and my family, okay? Because it's about to get serious out here, and this can happen at any time. I mean, they've been telling you, they've been having so many TED Talks. They've been having TED Talks for 10 years. You got Elon Musk. He always at a council talking about the AI. He always at a podcast talking about the AI. This is about to happen. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy.
A future where intelligence is a utility, like electricity or water, and people buy it from us.
You're at work right now. I am at work. Today, God knows, over 100 million Americans are at work. It's an important part of their lives. Deep down, we all want to contribute, whether we're a janitor or a brain surgeon.
I hate working. But this is what you call the curses. The Lord said he made the earth for our sakes. But since we sin against him, now we got to get the bread for the sweat of our face. All the way back in Genesis 3. Okay? So what the point is that this is what's coming. But the Lord said this. This is my favorite scripture to end it on. Because you have kept the word of my patience, I will also keep you from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. And that is the mark of the beast and everything that follows it. Everything that leads up to it too. All right? So you better seek ye out the Lord while he may be found. And shalom.